What I can tell you for sure, we have created a forum for you to come here and say what you just said. The persons who are sitting at the table heard you loud and clear. And I've heard you and I've been hearing you. And I want to assure everyone here, this is not to appease any one of you. This is an effort to solve the problem and to deal with it head on. Right? We are going to address the issue of that length of time it takes for a person to go on trial. I asked the question in an interview this morning with a reporter. We have a timeline for when a person is charged, arrested and charged, to face the courts. Why don't we have a timeline for when they appear before a judge, a trial? Why don't we have a timeline for that? We have timelines for everything else. But again, the state is asleep. The state is asleep. And, well, we are awake. Believe you me, we are awake. And we have been talking, we have been saying these things time and time and time again. We're on Facebook. We see it all the time on Facebook. We have forums like these, and this is just one of many forums I'm going to have. The United Prison Movement is going to have. Like I said, be prepared. We are going to hit the streets. Be prepared. And when the call is made, I want to see the numbers. And it's the only way we can shape this society to bring it to what we want. Look at the struggles of all the greats in the past. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in jail, struggling for freedom. Look what he had to endure. Look at the amount of people died in that struggle. And on the day he died, we had world leaders at his feet. Coming to his last days, he was given the red carpet in all countries. It's not an easy struggle. It's a difficult one. And don't for once think that the person sitting at the head table does not know. They know. But we are tasked with this communication between the different agencies. Water is not being fed in the prisons. It's brown in color. If we at home getting brown water in our taps, we go by the shop and we buy water. What are the prisoners to do? This is the problems that is being faced. But who is responsible for sending water in the prison? It is WASA. But this is the point. We are going to solve it. This is the starting point. Understand that every journey has a beginning. Every journey has a beginning. And sometimes that beginning, there's be a lot of teething problems. How many of you have babies? Have grown a child from small? How many of you have seen your child walk at the age of 2? How many of you are still seeing your child creeping at the age of 3? How many of you? Let us understand, it is a daunting task. And we may not have all the answers here today for you. I cannot answer that question you have asked. When are these people going to be placed before a judge and jury and have their trial start? I cannot answer that question. But what I can tell you is that we are going to push it until they shorten that time. We are going to do it. All right? So we had a question from the lady in red.
A pleasant good afternoon to the head table and ladies and gentlemen. I just want to find out what you all are doing concerning, well, the lady has said a lot, and a lot of those things were on my mind. Because personally, I have my only 2 sons are behind bars for murder that they did not commit. And it hurts me a lot to see the people who committed a crime walk in the streets. I mean, they said they are not happy, but they are walking the streets free while my children are behind bars. And not only my two sons, my nephew also. This is his mother. Coincidentally, his name is also Nelson. They are behind bars for a murder they did not commit. They were not on the scene. My children were in a REMA while that murder took place in Guayagari. Sorry to be so personal. That murder took place in Guayagari. When they heard about the house burning and things, they were at the entrance to get into the coconut, right? That is miles away from Guayagari, while the fire was going on. And yet still, the police and them, they took statements. And the statements did not line up with the accused, the so-called, well, the person who I saying committed the crime, right? I am saying she had about 7 different statements, right? And yet still, this thing passed through low court. The lawyer told us that, you know, because of certain things we feel we might get through there. Pay this lawyer all his money, and then they tell us we have to go to high court. My children are sitting behind there, and my nephew, without justice, right? Why these people are happy? You know, they are happy outside because they have freedom. My children don't. Another thing, why don't they invest in a lie detector? Because these people will get away with any lie. Because even the sister of the person who committed the thing say, this girl lies and everybody could believe it, right? And they believed her, and they just have my children and my nephew behind bars. Another thing with the groceries and things that you buy in the prison, because I went there about a week before my child father went. And we keep a track of the things that we buy, because I cannot go and stand up, you know, to speak to them. So I thank God that I get a little special visit, which I get some trouble every time I have to go to the prison. And my children, when they were asked if they got all the groceries, we made a list of the groceries. When you buy a case of water, they get in half case. You buy juice, they get in half of it. So I am working nowhere. When we get this money now to go and help to buy things for them inside there, what is happening? I want an answer for that today. What is happening to this thing now? Thanks.
I would allow the commissioner to address that issue in a little bit. As you talk about the cafeteria and the items that's been brought and sent in prison, let us not forget there's an island called Carrera Island. And we have prisoners there as well. And the conditions there are very alarming. They have no water. They have no water. Goods and services that go to the island, I understand that the prisoners do not get it. It's somebody else, you know, take it and use it for themselves. These are issues that needs to be addressed in the immediate sense. And you mentioned the groceries and so on. And I think there are mechanisms that the prison service can put in place to address these issues and to alleviate the suffering of those inmates who are at the hands and at the mercy of these different agencies. All right? I want to recognize in the audience Imam Hassan for the Karapu Masjid. He's sitting at the back, and I would like him to have a say as well. And I also want to recognize Mark Blake, who has been part of the prison system for quite a number of years. And his journey was not an easy one. He was held at a very young, early age for picking a mango from a neighbor's tree. And his entire life changed because of that. All right? So I want him to say something too as well. Anybody with any questions before Hassan and yeah.
Pleasant good afternoon, everyone. And assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters of the faith. I just stand so you can see my face once. I have an implant, so excuse me. I am I'm one of the co-founders of a social group that we have called Friends. And it's the acronym for Friends and Relatives of Inmates Exploring New Dimensions Socially. And we say slogan is, and it goes after a saying by Mr. Philip K. Dick, and it says, in a society of criminals, the innocent man goes to jail. And I think that applies in terms of your passion and what you were saying. So this group was formed based on me visiting the prisons over the past 8 years as a mother. I have a son incarcerated. And I've been transited through the transition because we started out at Golden Grove where, and I'm sure some people could attest to it, where the cash register wasn't working and you couldn't read anything although you was getting a bill. You couldn't read anything on the bill itself. I had to leave my cell phone with a guy sitting outside who I don't know because we couldn't bring our phones into the thing. And then things changed. My son was transferred to MSP and things kind of looked a little better. And I say kind of because within the time that he was there, he was stabbed and taken to the Eric Williams Medical Center. And one of my problems was that kind of inspired us to bring this group together, is that we were not informed. As a mother, I was not informed. That is my firstborn. He was stabbed, multiple stabs, and had it not been for the little allowance that you all give them to have phones, we would not have known that he was stabbed. And by the time I rushed and reached down to Mountop, they done stitch you up and send him back to the prison already. So I had to wait until the next day, which as a mother, you know, my heart in my hand. And when I do finally get onto welfare, they made me to understand that as an adult, they don't have to run anything by me. They are totally responsible for him, and they are not obligated to brief me in anything that happens behind the prison walls. So that in itself has me, you know, really, really uncomfortable until I make a visit. Right? So this group is there, and we have some recommendations that we would want to make. It's a WhatsApp group. We just started a WhatsApp group. So, you know, if anybody's interested in joining the group, you can just pass on your phone numbers to me, and we'll let the administrator join. It's really a group to kind of just be social, you know. Sometimes little things happen, and we could share it among ourselves. Sometimes somebody may have to make a visit, and they can't go. Somebody from the group might be able to go and do the visit for them. Sometimes people have court cases and they don't have clothes to wear to court. So we have that kind of social something. We have some other recommendations like the vagrants get allowance, financial allowance.
What we'll do, we'll have those engagements after the meeting.
Okay then,
We'll
great, thank
discuss
you.
that with you and so on.
Okay
Right,
then,
so
thanks.
3